Hey everybody, welcome to Kirby's Dreamland 2, Episode 5. This next level looks like a nice place. It is Red Canyon. And I hope you recognize this music. That's right, everybody. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-dun-da-dun-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, this is Yogurt Yard from Kirby's Adventure, and it's a great as tune as always. And Yogurt Yard was kind of a mountainous level, and so now this is a mountainous level because it's Red Canyon. Although it's nowhere near as cool of a name as Yogurt Yard. It's like you get to Yogurt Yard, you're like, what is this gonna be? That's what I like about Kirby's Adventure. It's so unpredictable. Like, yes, the levels do have themes, but actually playing through the level, it goes from thing to thing to thing really quickly, and it doesn't feel like it's a consistent theme. And also just the level names are all really interesting. Ice Cream Island, Orange Ocean, Rainbow Resort, Butter Building, you know. So this is kind of trying to make a Kirby game that's more sort of like a standard, I don't know, platformer maybe with secrets. So maybe sort of like a Super Mario Land 2 kind of thing. I don't know. I've never played either of the Super Mario Land games. I played I don't know if it's still up, but there was this website called Play R. It was play and then a capital R.com. And it was kind of like you could play emulations of Game Boy games and I think some SNES games and some maybe even N64 games. But I played, I think, Wario Land 3 or 2 or 3 or something on there. I played Pokemon Blue on there. I played the Alice in Wonderland game that's on Game Boy Color. It's been a while since I've been on that website. And speaking of Game Boy Color games, I was watching a TAS of Link's Awakening, the color version, this morning. And it was absolutely wild. He was just like jumping over walls, and they didn't beat any of the bosses in any of the dungeons, and like they would like go through a screen transition and like enemies would just turn into musical instruments. Like that one face boss, like his eyes just turned into pianos on the screen transition. It was pretty funny. The commentary was pretty sort of lackluster for what was actually happening. It was pretty crazy. They were like, yeah, well, we did this, and there was absolutely no comment whenever something absolutely absurd happened, or at least it didn't feel like it to me. They talked about some of the tricks they did. Gosh, it must be weird to make a TAS. Anyway, talking about changing themes, here we're sort of back in the forest area. And I cannot figure out what this boss is supposed to be. He kind of breaks character with the rest of the game for being so weird and like high tech. He's basically like a ninja with boomerangs that can teleport. It's like the rest of this game is kind of like, well, I don't know. I guess not realistic. You're fighting giant umbrellas. But yeah, anyway. So, I want to be like honest with people and honest with myself. It's been a weird time for me. It's been sort of a weird month for me. Although I know, it's coming up on 1 year of the pandemic, and so it's been, at least for us here in the U.S., not for the pandemic in general. The virus was, started to exist in. People noticed it in December of 2019. Oh, yeah, this was stupid. I was like, oh no. Yeah, that kind of happens a lot in this game. There's like auto scrollers, and then at the end they're just like, gotcha. It's funny that the original Kirby's Adventure doesn't have that many auto scrollers, so I feel like that's why I always kind of like this game a little less. Granted, this game does have things that Kirby's Adventure doesn't, but yeah, it was just I just got in a really weird mood. With a couple of snowstorms that happened and Valentine's Day, and there's basically this girl that I'm friends with, and like our friendship happened because it's so easy to talk to everybody virtually, and I just couldn't stop thinking about her, so I just felt really weird, and I felt like I was shunning all other company because I could only think of her and I only wanted to talk to her. Maybe I wasn't shunning other company on purpose, but it just felt like I was probably in an unhealthy state of mind. And then I was like, well, I should tell her how I feel, right? And I did, and it was interesting, and we did not make the decision to like go forward as a dating relationship, but like we're still like really good friends. I feel like she's probably my best friend right now, so it's weird. I don't know, I just feel weird, and maybe, you know, I haven't been like going outside very much at all because there's a pandemic going on and the weather's like it's not like it's not fun to go outside, but the weather's been pretty inhospitable. Also, what happened with that one eel there? That was ridiculous. But yeah, I should just I guess be better about being a little more well-rounded in my social network, having a lot of friends, but I'm such a introvert, and I just have a hard time trusting people and opening up to people, and you know, I still need to find more people that I trust. So, you know, and this pandemic hasn't made that any easier. Although it's made it easier to just, you know, find time to like call people halfway across the world whenever you want. Or if not halfway across the world, you know, 4 or 5 hours away. Yeah, so there's that. I don't know. Spring is coming up. Today the weather felt like spring, so that was kind of a welcome change. So hopefully that should be good for me to stop being like a bear hibernating in a weird castle. And speaking of castles, that's one game that I've been playing a little bit of recently is Mickey's Castle of Illusion. I'm not sure what the story of that game is. I think it's based on a Sega Genesis game, although I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a Sega Master Drive game. But they did a version of it for PC, and with like, you know, like really nice modern graphics, and I had to downscale it a bit before it would run on my computer, but it looks really beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things that it can run on my computer. I feel like, I don't know. Here, I like this boss. It's a giant Gordo, and yeah, he comes back in Kirby's Dreamland 3. I noticed that it's a nice kind of thing that you don't have mini-boss music, just the normal level music keeps playing while you fight the mini-boss, and it's kind of more chill in that way. You know, when you get Kirby's Dreamland 3, you have like mini-boss music, and it's like, it's go time, it's mini-boss time. It's funny, Kirby's Dreamland 3 has mini-boss music, while Kirby's Dreamland 2 has partner music. But that would be interesting, because Kirby's Dreamland 3 has 6 partners instead of 3, so if they had to write themes for all 6 of those partners, yeah, anyway. Castle of Illusion is interesting because it's mostly a kind of 2D platformer with 3D graphics, but it'll have sections where it is kind of trying to be a 3D platformer a little bit. It has elements of 3D kind of sprinkled in here and there. And I don't have a controller, So I'm playing all that with keyboard, which has been interesting to learn. It's definitely doable, you know, using arrow keys. I know doing platforming in 3D space, you know, like doing jumps, cough cough, the licorice dragon in the pool of ice cream, in the lake of ice cream, where you have to jump on macaroons, which is really cool, honestly. I think they're called macaroons, right? It was nerve-wracking to do a lot of that because you have to make these jumps in 3D space in a high-stakes situation and not fall into the water. But basically, like, if you're trying to make jumps in a 3D space with arrow keys, you just have to get used to thinking of jumps as like a combination of any two directions, any two, you know, compass directions, like straight up and straight to the right. So you just need to judge, like, okay, how much up should I do, and then how much right should I do right after that. And yeah, I don't know how interesting that is, but it is helpful for people who do want to play more 3D games. But that's another thing that you'll notice is different about this game. Swallowing 2 enemies will not give you a random. So, I don't know. It's more like puzzle focused in that way. It's like you have to have this specific ability to do this specific thing. So they wanted to make it less random. Especially because I think there are only 8 abilities. There's what? Cutter, Needle, Parasol, Fire, Ice, Spark, Rock. And there's probably another one, but I am not going to be able to remember it right now. So, speaking of interesting spaghetti, there's the Rainbow Drop room right there. And, I don't like having to start all over again, but, you know, that's what you get. Maybe there's only 7 abilities. Wouldn't that be a trip? It feels so weird. It's like, 7? Only 7? The Magnificent 7? The Furious 7? Whatever it's called. Thing. I guess if there's Waddle Doos in this game, then there must be Beam, although I don't think I've used Beam a single time. Yo, get out of here. Let me get in this door. So, I think it might be Spark. Maybe, I don't know. So, next is the Dirty Room. And HAL Laboratory put this into a kid's game. So, we got a face. Keep going. There's some bumps. A triangle. And, yeah, why is that in this game? It's funny, though. If you know it's coming, it's funny. If you don't know it's coming, but you're paying attention, then it's like, excuse me? Why are we doing this? Also, the hub level music is very funny. Oh shoot, I forgot that it took me a couple tries to get this boss. So... yeah, and they have an Eclipse attack, which is very interesting. But geez, these guys are hard to avoid. The sun hardly gives that much warning when he's about to do that sort of it's raining sunshine I'm walking on sunshine. And then that attack is just shooting stars. And they both damage you, I think, no matter which one is active. So, yeah, this is a tough fight. Yeah, so I was saying this is a tough fight. Look at Kirby swimming around. Well, I gotta end this soon because my throat is getting sore. As it sometimes does when I record these videos. Ow. Oh, I think that might have been intentional. But yeah, we're gonna just keep trying this boss until we get it. But we'll get it eventually. Wish I remembered who's who. I think Mr. Bright is the sun and Mr. Shine is the moon. That would make the most sense because the sun is bright while the moon shines. Although you could say that about, you know, you say sunshine, so it's like the sun shines while the moon is just bright because the sun is the one that's actively shining, whereas the moon is just bright. I don't know. They could have just called it Mr. Soul and Miss Luna, and then it would be easier to remember, but they didn't. So we're stuck in Purgatory. Not really. We're in Zumbini Purgatory. I played Zumbinis on my Discord yesterday to celebrate. It was my birthday yesterday, actually. I was celebrating. Zumbinis is cool, although Zumbinis has its fair share of puzzles that just get really hard on the harder levels and are even like really boring on some of the easier levels. Like, oh my gosh, that frog pond, it's pretty. I like looking at it, and it's calming with like the frog, like the hopping around and water splashing sounds, but it takes forever. And the Crystal Cave, the Rainbow Abyss is okay, but the Crystal Cave is just time-consuming and boring. And a boring Pizzante. And our Pop-Tarts calzones. And Butterbeer abscond with Richardson Davis in Hotel Ecstasy Esperanza. Clam chowder. I don't know. Nobody told me what the program was. I was just born on this planet, and we got hit by the Eclipse. Except not by the Eclipse. We weren't in the Eclipse, and so therefore we weren't safe. That really annoys me how they still damage you even if they're not, like, I don't know. It's hard to get the timing right. I guess you can only spit their stuff at them when they're active, so when they have the little face. And, yeah, 3 stars in a row, baby. Just got the 1 and then got the 2. And I was like, don't let me die. And I didn't die. And we're finally done with level 5. So, next level is level 6. My goodness, look at that mountain, or is it a volcano?